Today, you're going to learn how to build a simple cryptocurrency tracker in SwiftUI. You're going to learn about MVVM architecture, networking and fetching data from an API, and how to display the data in a list. So as you can see here, we have a list of cryptocurrencies with their relative data. You can see the image for each crypto, its name, price, and percentage change in the last 24 hours. And now let's get started. First, you need to open up a SwiftUI project in Xcode. Now here, we already have it open. And then over here, we have the content view, right? So what we're gonna do first is change the name to crypto tracker view. And that's gonna be our main view, right? So let's change everything here in the content view. And then let's change the preview as well. And now we're gonna go to the crypto tracker app file. And we're gonna change the content view to crypto tracker view as well. And now let's go back to the content view and we're gonna change the name of the file. And now what we're gonna do is just remove all of this and we're just gonna leave the text for hello world for now. And we're gonna get started with our view model. So we're gonna create a folder and we're gonna call this folder view models like this. And we're gonna create a file inside that folder. We're gonna go with an empty file and we're gonna call the file crypto view model like this. And we're gonna import SwiftUI here, right? And then we're gonna create a class named crypto view model. I usually like to use the same name as the file over here, and this is gonna be an observable object. So observable object like this, right? And this will allow our view model to notify any observing views like crypto tracker view when its data changes, right? So that's why we're using observable object. And now we need curly brackets here. And then over here, we're gonna create the constant for our API URL. So API URL. And then this is gonna be provided in the description below. So I'm just gonna paste it here like this. And now we're actually gonna take a look at our API. So we're gonna go to the API link and we're gonna take a look here and you're gonna see at the top left corner you have Bitcoin over here, right? Now we just want to check where is the second one. It looks like Ethereum over here is the second one, which means it's enough for us to copy the first one over here, right? So we're just gonna copy it to take a look at it and we're gonna go back to Xcode. And what we're gonna do here is comment this and take a look at it. So as you can see here, you have an ID, right? And then you have a symbol, and then you have a name, you have an image, and then current price, market cap, and then price change 24 hours, and then price change percentage 24 hours, right? So what we're gonna do here is copy this again, and we're gonna go over to our model, which we're gonna create now. So we're gonna create a folder. We're gonna call this models, and then we're gonna create a file inside, which we're gonna call crypto model, right? And then we're gonna import SwiftUI again, and then we're gonna create a struct for our crypto model, right? And this guy is gonna be identifiable because we're gonna need each crypto model to be unique and have an ID as well, right? And it's gonna be decodable, and you're gonna see why after we create our fetch from API function. And now we can paste this again to take a look. And now all you need to do is look for what you actually need. So you don't need to use everything here, just the main things. We're gonna do an ID, so let ID, and then this ID is gonna be a string, right? And then we're gonna do a name, so which is also gonna be a string, and we're gonna do an image, so let image, and this is also gonna be a string. And the next thing we're gonna choose is the current price, which is over here. Right? And this is gonna be a double because you can see the number here. And then the next thing we're gonna use is price change percentage, which is this one. So let's just copy it. And this is also gonna be a double, right? And now what we're gonna do is just remove all of this. And here's our code. Now we're not gonna change this file anymore. And what we're gonna do next is create our fetch from API function. So we're going to go back to our view model because this is not finished yet. And then as you can expect, we're going to go with an init function here. And this is just going to call our function that we're going to create. We're going to call it fetch crypto data, right? And then after this, we'll just create the function. So fetch, we can make it private because we're not going to use it anywhere else. And fetch crypto data, right? And then open curly brackets like this. And the first thing you're gonna do is check whether the URL is good or not. So we're gonna use guard. That way we exit early from the function if the URL is bad. So let URL equals URL. And then we're gonna take in a string here, which is gonna be the API URL here, right? And then else is going to return, right? So like I said, if the URL is bad, we will just get out of the function and move on. And now, if the URL is good, we're ready to fetch our data. So what we're going to do is URL session.shared.data task, and then with URL here. And then this session is going to have a data, response, and error like this. And the first thing we're going to do is check the error. If let error equals error, we're going to print error fetching data like this. And then the error is going to be shown right here. And then we're going to return as well if there is an error. Cool. And the next thing, we're going to go over to the data. Now we're not going to do anything with the response here to keep it simple. So we're just going to go if let data equals data. And then here we're going to use do and then catch any errors. And then over here, we're gonna decode the data. So let decoder equals JSON decoder. And then what we're gonna do is create a constant for the decoded data. So decoded data equals try decoder dot decode, right? Because we're decoding the data. And then here, what we're gonna do is an array of crypto model. Because over here, we create a crypto model, which is only one of the cryptocurrencies, right? And that's why we're using an array of crypto models, right? And then here we want self and then from data. Cool. And now in the catch, what we're going to do is print error decoding data, because that means something went wrong with this action, right? Now we still need a variable to notify observing views like the crypto tracker view whenever the values change, right? So what we're going to do is create a publish variable, and then we're going to call it crypto data. So this is going to be used in the crypto tracker view, and you're going to see how later, right? And then this is going to be an array of crypto model, right? Like this. And then here we're not done yet because we need to use this and add the data to it, right? So we're going to go to the decoded data here, and then here we're going to use a dispatch queue. So dispatch queue, and then we're going to make it asynchronous. So main.async like this, and then self.cryptodata equals decoded data. So this is simply just putting this functionality in the main thread, because this is gonna be updating the UI if any of the data changes, right? Now, one thing is missing from this is just the resume function. So we're just gonna do dot resume here to actually make this run. And that's pretty much it for our view model. So what we're gonna do now is start with the actual UI, and we're gonna go to the crypto tracker view. So over here, we only have the text hello world, right? So what we're gonna do first is create our state object like this. And then this is gonna be private because we're not using it anywhere else. And then var, and then we're gonna call it view model, right? And then it's gonna be equal to crypto view model like this. And state object here makes the crypto tracker view create and own and observe the crypto view model, right? So anything that happens in the crypto view model, the crypto tracker view is gonna know about it. So now what we're gonna do is create a navigation view here to add a title at the top. We're gonna remove the text here, and we're gonna create a list, right? And this list is gonna take data from the view model. So view model dot crypto data right? So if you go back to the view model, we're grabbing this data, right? Which we added the decoded data to over here, right? So we're gonna go back to the view again now. And then we're gonna open curly brackets like this, and it's gonna take in crypto and we're gonna create a new view. So it's gonna be called crypto view, and it's gonna take in a crypto parameter, and we're gonna call this crypto as well, right? And then let's create a quick navigation bar title before we move on to the crypto view. And the title is gonna be crypto tracker, right? And we're gonna do display mode dot inline, right? And now if we comment this out and let's do text, for example, hello, we're just gonna take a look at what happens. Okay, cool. So you can see a bunch of hellos here, right? So now we're just gonna remove this again and then uncomment this, right? And now we're gonna create a new file which is gonna be called CryptoView. And we're gonna actually create a folder, and this folder is gonna be views, and we're gonna grab the crypto tracker view and put it in the views folder, right? And then we're gonna create the new file, which is gonna be a SwiftUI view template. So we chose this right here, and then next, we're gonna call this crypto view. So we already have hello world here. So what we're gonna create first is the actual crypto model. So var crypto, and then we're gonna take in crypto model, right? Because we're gonna use this to get the data from the crypto. And here we can just remove this, right, and make this bigger. So what we're gonna do first is a horizontal stack, like this, because we want some of the data to be horizontally aligned, right? And the first thing we're gonna put is the image, which is gonna be asynchronous, because some of the images might take some time to load, right? So async image, and then this is gonna take a URL as an argument, and URL string, and then it's simply gonna be crypto.image, right? And then this over here is gonna take an image, and then in right here, and then this image is gonna be resizable, so dot resizable like this, and then we're gonna do dot scaled to fit. This ensures that the image maintains its aspect ratio while fitting within the available space in the view. And then we're gonna do a frame of width, let's say 30, and then height 30, right? And let's say we just wanna add some padding here as well, and dot horizontal padding, and then 5. And then what we're gonna need here is a placeholder. And over here, that means whenever there's no image, we're gonna put something which is gonna be a very simple progress view that also has the same padding. And next, what we're gonna do inside the horizontal stack is create the crypto name, right? And the price. So let's say we wanna do these vertically aligned. What we're gonna do is vstack right here, and we're gonna need them to have an alignment of leading, and then let's add the dot here. That way it goes to the left when it comes to the horizontal stack, right? And then the first text is gonna be very simple as well. So it's just gonna be crypto.name, and we can just specify the font to be a headline. That should be small enough. And then for the price, we're just gonna do text again, and we're gonna do a string here, which takes in a $sign, right? And then we're just gonna do crypto.current price, and we're just gonna specify that it's subheadline, so it's smaller than the name, And let's say it has a color of gray. So foreground style dot gray. And now what we're gonna do next is create the percentage change in the last 24 hours of the price. Now, how are we gonna do that? So inside the H stack over here, and then outside the V stack over here, we're gonna add a spacer. That way there's a space between the text and the percentage change horizontally, right? So what we're gonna do here is another text, and then this is just gonna be, so crypto again, and we're gonna go back to our model and then copy this. So price change percentage, 24-hour, right? Like this. And then this one, we actually can just specify that we need 2 decimals only. And we do that like this. Let's add a percentage and then .2 F like this. And then we're gonna close the parentheses here and then add a percent sign as well. And remove this one right here. Cool. And let's add a parentheses over here as well. And that should be it. Now this is very important as well. We're gonna do foreground style. Now depending on whether the price change is positive or negative, we're gonna change the color. So we're gonna copy this. And what we're gonna do is check if it's less than 0, then we're gonna do .red, and then otherwise it's gonna be .green. So it's that simple. Now we're pretty much done with the crypto view. We can probably add some padding over here as well. And let's say we want it to be vertical. That way the horizontal stack is vertically bigger. And now what we want to do is go back to the crypto tracker view and see what we have. So as you can see, we have the data showing up as we expect, and you can scroll down and see everything. Everything looks good, and you can also kind of see the progress bar view. Yeah, so you can see it if you scroll quickly. There you go. And now one thing that is missing that is very important is that if there's any errors in grabbing the data, so let's say something goes wrong with fetching the data, the tracker view here is not going to show any data, right? So we want to handle that. So what we're going to do here is after the navigation view, we're going to check if the view model dot crypto data is empty like this. And then if it's empty, we're going to create a new view. So we're just going to call this empty data for now. And then else, we're going to put all of this over here. And now instead of just using a text, we're going to create a new view, which is going to be called no data view like this. And we're going to create it now. So we're going to go back to views and create a new file. And it's also going to be a SwiftUI view template. And we're going to call it no data view. We can just create a VStack and then let's say text no data available. And then let's say dot font dot headline and then dot foreground style dot gray and then some padding. So you can see it on the screen here. And then let's add some more text. So text, let's say we want to do something like, please check your connection or try again later, right? So you can see it on the screen. Let's do font sub headline and then the same color as well. So you can see it on the screen here. And now let's go back to the crypto tracker view and test it. So let's wait for it first. So now you can still see the data, right? And to test it, we're just gonna do kind of like this. We're just gonna remove everything and keep the no data view. Yeah, so as you can see, it should work if the crypto data is empty. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you learned something new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.